Hey, what's going on? We should be live. Ruth just graced us with her presence, believe it or not. Tuvo, tuvo, shvi. Sit. And yeah, we'll be painting today digitally, though. I want to do some studies of John Singer Sargent. Very, I would say, let's see if you can see her. No, you can't. Very casual. I'm not going to do anything too complex, but there's something about the colors he was using that interests me. And I would like to explore that here with you. So in any case, thank you so much, Easy Electronic, for being here. Much appreciated. Chen Sun Chu, hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Hello from Taiwan. Thank you so much for being here. Hope everyone is doing well. So I'm going to just open up real quick here my document. Let me share my screen. I have a bunch of tools to mimic some kind of a traditional paint look, but it's not really a must. Hey, Samnifica, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see here. In my vids folder, you should find two tiny references I want to start with. Maybe we'll download more of these. I actually would like to just focus on a small part here. Just for fun, let's grab this. Can I, let's see if I can figure this out. Can I just copy a small bit, like something like this? Yep, there we go. That should work. Would just like, I won't be able to make it look like watercolor because I'm not using watercolor. Watercolor is probably one of the hardest mediums to imitate digitally. Hey, Brazen Spirituality. Happy Thursday. Thank you for being here. Nico, hello from New Zealand. Thank you, Nico. Much appreciated. Cool, from Texas. Awesome. Stephanie, yeah, I made it to a live. Good morning from USA, everyone. Good morning. Yes, it's quite early. So thank you so much to everyone who's here. Hey, Jacqueline, how are you doing? Happy you made it in time this time. Very excited. It looks like a lot of people have made it in time, so that's great. Hey, Dwayne, how are you? Thursday morning coffee time. Hope you're well. Thank you so much. Dazzling Action. Hey, how are you? I just love pixel art. I've been playing a bit of Stardew Valley, if there's any fans here. And that is the definition of pixel art, but in a modern game. So I have this brush, let's just start kind of exploring. I like the gouache brush. Honestly, you won't be able to really mimic anything. Should I start with a sketch? Maybe I'll start with a sketch and actually do a sketch layer. Let's be organized. Sketch. So I'm just curious to see, look at this thing here. I love, his perception of color is genius, because there's a lot of clever things going on just in this small area, believe it or not. You get a very strong blue here and then a more neutral gray because of the reflection from the ground counteracts the blue from the sky. It's really cool. So yeah, I'm excited to explore some of these with you. Let's see who else is in the house. Joanne, hey, how are you doing from Montreal, Canada? Thank you so much for being here. Joanna, yeah, my favorite watercolorist. I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you so much for being here. Paula, good morning from Yorktown, Virginia. Awesome. John, hey, how are you? Hope you're doing well as well. I need to see you working with Clip. Yes. I haven't done a lot of work with Clip Studio Paint. Definitely not in the live streams, so it is quite fun. Let's do this. Just make a bit more. Oops. Oh, so I cannot select an area and then remove that. Can't I just delete? Okay, I can. I don't know what happened, but here we go. So yeah, I'm going to go for, sometimes when you do these sketches, you can learn quite a bit. Not necessarily, again, in the how to do things or the right way to do things, but you just get new ideas. So I'm going to try and recreate this little gator here using some simple lines, I suppose. And, the more I look at Sargent's work, the more I see how much he did notice about his reference photos, or views rather, because he probably painted mostly from observation. I think that would make sense, right? Were there photos when he? Yeah, I'm exaggerating. It's not that old. So yeah, so he noticed quite a bit of interesting details. One thing that's really cool is they say when you paint or draw a shadow, it's best to have it describe the shape of the object on which it is cast. So you get this nice little curve that gets precedence over the small details of that. I don't think that's something he did on purpose. I just think it looks really cool. All of these best practices are just very, to me, they're weak guidelines, not something to really adhere to too much. And let me know as I'm kind of getting started here, and I'll take a break in a second and read more chat messages. What have you been working on? Are you doing something artistic? Now, look, this edge of the head coincides with this left side of the head. So I got this here. So I know that's how I measure. Now, again, this is all going to be a bit abstract to the left. I want to see if I'm able to mix these things on my own. Not mix, because I'm not going to be mixing, but selecting somewhat accurate colors if I can. By the way, I love that the gators just are sitting one on top of the other. It's so funny. So yeah, there we go. Or is it crocodiles? I can't tell the difference. Anyone here from Florida, you let me know. What is this? Is this a rib cage? Why is it getting so fat around here? I think that's for shortening. Yeah, but that looks cool. Jennifer, hi from Shreveport, Louisiana, USA. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. This gator painting is great. I need to try painting it. Yes, sure, you could give it a try. I didn't link the photos, but if you look for, alligators, John Singer, Sargent, you'll find it. By the way, there's a video I hope to release on Saturday. I'm still waiting for it to be approved. It's that gouache video I told you about. It took me longer to edit than I thought. I was initially planning for it to be out on Tuesday. My apologies. If anyone was expecting that, my bad. But yeah, what can you do? So that's going to be a leg, and then we're going to have another leg. And I don't put too much importance or emphasis on master studies. At least not in the way they're usually purported. Is that the word for it? I don't really want to, again, learn what the correct way a different artist has done something. What I like more about it is I can experience a painting process that may teach me what I like more to do, what I enjoy more. And because it's going to be a little different than the things that I initiate on my own, it could give me some new insights for myself again. So I think I have enough information to just get started. So this area here looks quite neutral. Oh crap! I didn't want to match the color, so we'll go just to a random thing. So it was kind of on the bluish side, neutral blue, but gray. And if we go with that, and I'm just going to start blocking in some shapes, we'll figure out what the right brush is. Again, brushes are a little tricky, but I'm just going to do one layer of paint. I don't really want to get it any more complex than that. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, okay, that's good. We'll go a little lighter to start with. And just see if I can block out some interesting colors. So one thing I'm noticing, for example, is how it goes a little bluer, cleaner blue up top, and possibly a little darker as well. So let's see if this is too exaggerated, but we can kind of give it a go. The one disadvantage of working this way, by the way, is that I don't really have the fine control over the brush, getting the really narrow spots and really capturing the nuances in terms of the shapes of you have a lot of flexibility with the brush, believe it or not, a lot of it. Let's go a little warmer here and see if we can get a bit of warmth down below. You see that? That's a really, really neat shape. And it really gives, already you get a feeling of temperatures, right? So I'm not trying to imitate exactly what he was doing, but I'm trying to kind of get a read of my own on it. And I really like this. And then underneath, we have a really heavy shadow that we're going to try and match in a second. That, by the way, to me looks a little warm. So if I stay on the warm side of the spectrum and go kind of with the darks, let's see what we can get here. And you know what? I need to find a better, thinner brush. Let's go with a thin. But then it doesn't give me the look I want. Let's see. Or maybe I'll just make it a wider brush and it will work. I don't know. Yeah, it's a very sharp brush. It's too strong for my taste. I still want it to be a little loosey-goosey. Let's go with an oil brush, see what happens. This is heavy. I'm not super proficient with around mixing brushes, with the brushes in Clip Studio Paint. I just played around with it. I mostly use it for other things, but we'll get it. Oops, not warm though. I need it to be a little cooler here. There we go. That looks nice. Probably more saturated too. And I can just layer on top of it. That's the advantage. And I can also do the undo button. But that gives you a bit of an insight as to, you know, how I'm trying to analyze this piece of art. And we'll continue in a second. I'm going to continue blocking the shapes. Nico, are you using your mouse or a tablet? A tablet. There's no way I would use a mouse for this. I have a tablet and this pencil. I have a Huion Canvas Pro 16, I think, or 16.3. I never remember. But yeah, tablet. Jacqueline, there's a YouTuber, Corbin Maxey, who has two gators getting married. They lay on each other like this all the time. This person actually has two gators, like in a video, or are they his gators? That's strange. No, Morgan, I'm not going digital. I'm just playing around with it. But I can't. My love is with watercolor. It's probably, I love the flow. I may give oils a try, funny enough, in the future, because I really enjoyed that gouache experiment. But no, I'm not going digital, not yet, at least. So I'm going to go back to my blues, and I'm going to go for a thinner brush. Maybe we'll make the amount of paint, maybe, or density of paint. Okay, let's see. I want to just get this little narrowy edge of the gator, and there's a lot of interesting things going on here with light and shadow. Like this is a really nice strong blue, probably a little warmer too, like that. Let's block in that shadow because I love the way it looks, and we'll see where that takes us. So I'm gonna go with kind of a relatively neutral but strong neutral blue, in that it's not warm or cool, but it's going to be strong saturation-wise. And I do want to use my round gouache mixing brush for this, just to get everything to kind of mix together. Should probably be a little more in the ultramarine, more neutral. Let's not get too excited about the crazy saturation here. I still haven't mastered sizes of brushes. Like, I have no idea. But the fun part is I can kind of play around with it as much as I want. Should be bluer, probably. What is that color? It's a darker version of that blue I have, yeah. So it looks like more like this. A little darker, I would say. Yeah, that looks neat. Are you using a Wacom? No, so it was a Huion Canvas Pro. I'm going to write it down if you want it spelled. Huion Canvas Pro 16 tablet. If they're watching, feel free to reach out, because I tried collabing with them in the past. Didn't really work out. Jacqueline, they were housed separately for years, but he recently introduced them to each other. He's got a zoo-like place and is an animal ambassador. Oh, that's really cool. That's really fun. Diane, hi, Liron et al. From the UK. Gators have a broad U-shaped snout, while crocs have a narrow V. So is that a gator then? It looks like a wide U shape. Hopefully I got it right. Let's go with some more darks here around the bottom. I'm going to try and keep this process as organic as I can, meaning I'm going to try making it kind of mixed together nicely. We'll see what we can do. So I'm trying to get my brush marks to mix. Again, it's digital, so it's going to work out a little differently. Now the eye is a nice neutral, I would say a bit warm. So I would start with something like that. And there's quite a bit of complexity there, but I'm going to simplify the shape a bit if I can. So I would say something like this. If we go into the center, it'll probably be a little darker, something like that. I also see a bit of that same color here, which means I can use it for sure. And then we have this nice little neutral blue. Quite interesting. Let's see, am I close? Yeah, probably a little lighter still, because this isn't white, you know, this area here. Yeah, it's interesting. Let's play around with some other brushes. What is paint and apply? What is that? I have no idea, but I like the blurry look here. So let's give it a go. There's a bit of a blue shadow there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I think that's for editing other brushes. Let's see. Go back to our gouache. I'm going to put a bit of this. Then I'm going to blend it. Let's see if it works. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, cool. In my digital journey, I'm still not in a position where some artists are, where you have your favorite brush sets and you know exactly like the kind of tools that you like using. I'm more, again, for the, let's try this a bit. Let's try an airbrush. I'm definitely not there yet. Still learning the tools wise, but I really enjoy the medium as it is, just generally speaking. I'm going to add a bit of warmth, a little lighter. Let's see if that can kind of put the face for now, make it look like it makes sense. Same coolness for the blue up top. We'll see. We'll let it sit for a couple of moments. I could use that same round mixing brush, probably. Now that I have a bunch of colors here, just to organize my shapes a bit. There's another eye here, too. A bit of darkness there. Like so. Yeah, I think that's good for now. But this definitely helps me to figure out like why he went for the colors he went. Because that's something, again, colors still elude me a lot. Colors still confuse me quite a bit for some odd reason. I either can't tell what color I'm looking at, or it's very hard for me to let's try, by the way, I want to erase this bit here. It's either very hard to tell what color I'm looking at, or I kind of know but mix it wrong anyway. That can sometimes happen too, which I find really annoying. And you know what's cool? I think there's a bit of a kind of daring orange here. You know, if had I painted, let's say, in watercolor, there you go. You see this little bit here? Reflecting the warmth from the body, probably. This is really clever. I would have never noticed that. So much nuances. Had I done this with watercolor, it would have been much faster, but I don't know if I would have been as accurate, by the way. I haven't done digital. I feel like it would be more frustrating for me. I like to paint for fun and enjoy the process. Yeah, it really depends on your kind of the way you're wired, I think. So I like watching you try and match the brush strokes and colors. Yeah, I'm going to try not to be too harsh when it comes to the brush strokes themselves and just try and focus on the colors. Got any suggestions? Morgan asks, for somebody who grips their art tools too hard. Yeah, you know, that's a thing. I have a tendency to do that with pen and ink, like to really grab on the pen. At some point, my muscles get so tired. You know, I could tell you just try and loosen up the muscles, maybe do a warm up, and then focus deliberately on not gripping them as hard. But it's so easy to get lost in the process and just default back to it. If it doesn't hurt your result as much, then it's a different story. If it really hurts your result and you hate it, I think that will eventually solve itself. But maybe you use it right now to create the way you do, and if you just try and change it, it won't really work. You know, maybe you should let the muscles just tire completely, and then it'll help. Something I did here for the thinner tools, thinner pens, it tends to be more of an issue. But for example, if I try and paint with something like a bamboo brush, it doesn't happen as badly. Whereas with the thinner metal brushes, I have it happen more. I don't know if that's a thing. That's what I noticed. Malcolm, hi Liron, followed you for so long, but quiet it works. So this is my first live of Sargent Sublime Scale. Yeah, thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you for following for a long time, and we all agree Sargent's amazing. So I'm going to, let's try something interesting that I don't know if it will work. Let's almost treat this as a painterly process. So I'm going to block in some shapes. Let's see if I manage to get this to work. I'm going to block in some of these shapes I'm seeing really roughly, and then start adding in the details. How about that? That could be interesting. So, okay, so that goes here. I don't see the continuation. It'll probably end somewhere around there, but that's fine. Let's get that same brush. Let's go a little neutral here. Of course, it's much easier to, I will admit, match the colors when you're seeing it on the screen and you're matching it on screen. If this was on screen versus on paper, it gets a little more complex for sure. Some darker blues here. I'm going to try and really approach this in a painterly way and see what happens. A bit more blue for this area of the leg. Same here. I don't really have a work process for opaque media. I have no real process in place, so I'm searching. You know, I'm kind of working it while I paint, working these things out. If I am to try opaque media in a more serious way, especially like if I go more onto the gouache direction or oils, I'll probably start developing a process like this. Right now, I really don't have one. So it's really just searching, you know, searching for it. Now let's start giving this some, you know, the center mass. I don't know, is that too dark? Should be more neutral. It appears. And maybe even a little lighter, you know? Almost white. Let's start with that. So I'm going to give the entire body this kind of a color. Morgan, I'm tapping everything then, even my Wacom pen. Oh, that sounds like a big issue, actually. Yeah, you know, I had that same thing with the pen. It kind of went away after a while, though I'm sorry I don't have like a good solution, a good practical solution for you. Yeah, kind of just went away after a while. Some of it has to do maybe with like tightness of wanting to get a certain result, or, you know, worrying about getting things to look right, and then perhaps with some more experience and confidence it will disappear. That could definitely be the case. Could be many things. Usually, it's just like anything else. It's all in the mind and the psychology. Nothing is really it's never about what you think it is. You know what I mean? Like it's never about the actual thing that artists are doing and messing up. It's not the thing they're doing. It's where their mind is as they're doing it. That's always the case. You know, as crazy as it may sound, that's just how it works. Now I'm gonna go for a bit of warmth here, right around this area that reflects. You'll notice a bit of the ground, actually, a bit of the ground and the details. Now I'm getting into a more painterly mindset, I think. I feel it. It's really fun. I actually feel it happening. Reflected light on the bottom here from the ground. Here I can't see much, so that's fine. I cropped that part out. Now, as we move to the right, we have this interesting, I don't know, is that a gray or could be a little more on the blue side? Let's start with a slightly blue-gray and see what we can achieve here to show the kind of rotation and the change of value. Then I do see some stronger blues here in the shadow. So it's funny, you know, digital can be a little easier because you don't have to work hard to mix stuff. But it almost like removing all limitations makes it harder. Sometimes when I paint digitally, I am confronted more with my weaknesses as a painter. Actually, you know, maybe counterintuitively. So I don't know what it is about it that exposes more of your own kind of limitations and the things where you're still not as polished, but it often happens. You don't got to have all the answers. Yes, I appreciate your discussion on it. Just hearing someone else's experience is helpful. I definitely think it's stress related. I've been stressed lately. Yeah, it's usually about that. Just got to try and enjoy resting, even though I don't like it. Yes, and if you do art for either you're studying art or you're doing it for a living, you can get into these places where you're stressed. It's not as useful at the end of the day. Diane, this reminds me of painting by numbers. I'm totally useless on a computer. Yes, it's similar in some senses. Yes, for sure. Laura, good evening, morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, Laura. Yeah, so as I was saying, I think once you remove all of these limitations, you're almost exposing your problems as a painter, the things you're not yet as proficient in. Don't know why that happens, but it just seems to happen. Because you have no limitations, it's like, okay, open canvas, do whatever you want, achieve whatever you want to achieve, and then you're like, yeah, but I don't know, I guess I'm not that good in some things. Let's see this touch of gray blue. I like that a lot. We're gonna incorporate some of that in, and I would say let's go with a bit more of a neutral gray here within the shadows. And as we reach that peak of darkness, it will start going a little darker for sure. And then you see we have this beautiful pattern. I absolutely love that kind of a thing that gets all the way to the back here. Like noticing all of that is super. That's Sargent, you know? That is Sargent for you. Just noticing all of these intricacies. And then if I switch over to a more saturated yet dark blue, let's go with more of that violet-y blue. Somewhere in the middle. See, blues, they're still a big challenge. Yeah, it should be lighter, by the way, just darker than what's there. And then more gray towards the bottom. And I would go with a larger brush so that it blends a little. This tail bit it's definitely a challenge. And then I love the, let me get the background in just to almost paint the negative shape behind that, to kind of frame it in. I could go with thin brush. Let's try that out. Just make it a little bit of a larger one. Let's see. So if I do this, and then I dig into that, or that'll be too close, I think. Yeah, I should probably take a bit more of a distance here. Instead of painterly approach, and I'm really trying to still maintain some of these scales on the back, whatever you want to call these. I really like the way they look. Of course, I'm not going to be able to capture them exactly the same, but that looks quite neat. I like that a lot. So what are you working on? Anyone working on a piece of art? I'm currently working on a huge painting, huge commission. You've seen it in my stories. I'm very excited about it. My largest piece to date. And yeah, it's quite crazy. I'm gonna take a while to really properly work on it. I have to organize a lot of my sketch just to make it more paintable. I have to do a bunch of things there to bring it towards a place where I can paint it. I don't know if you haven't seen it. You can look at my Instagram stories. You'll see it. It's 2.5 by 1 meters. That is. Brenda, good morning from Vancouver. Morgan, I'm heading out. Enjoy your study when it's already looking punchy. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I don't know if it'll be a complete study, if it'll end up being the whole even crop that I did here. I just want to focus on this section and see what I can do with it. Jacqueline, I'm painting magnolia flowers today. Cool. And Bible art journaling. Awesome. So how do you do that? How do you do a Bible art journal? I'm not sure. I always wanted to do some kind of a journal, like they often do in urban sketching settings, let's say. And I never really managed to stick to one. It was quite disappointing, actually. Like either a travel journal or something like that. Even when I was in South America, I really wanted to do something like that and just never could find the, I guess, desire to do it while on vacation. And then even day to day, I don't know why. I guess it's just not me. Paint in my Bible. So do you actually open the pages up and paint in them? Is it to the side? Do you have a place to paint within it? I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. I'm going to add a bit of the scales here. I'm going to zoom in. They look a bit on the cool side here. Let's go with just gouache or dry gouache. Let's see. I haven't played around with the other brushes yet. A little darker. Yeah, that's good. Thin gouache brush, maybe. That could work too. This is, of course, completely different to painting with like actual paint or watercolor, you know. Taking a break from florals and working on a landscape. Cool, Laura. Cool. I think landscapes to be the most potentially relaxing painting subjects. Potentially, I say, because you can get stressed about anything, but to me, landscapes are what really allows you to take it easy. Just inherently, they're a little more relaxing, I think. The more you have room to invent stuff, tree patterns, stuff like that, I find it more relaxing. So yeah, I should paint more landscapes just due to this. My everyday settings just don't have a lot of them around me. But yeah, One thing I definitely want to do is some plein air around here, the apartment. It's a nice area. There's a lot of green. Yes, I have a Bible with wide margins, so it has room for images. Pages are really nice for watercolor, but do wrinkle a bit. But I like the texture. Really, can you do a watercolor on it? That's really cool. I wouldn't expect that to be possible. It's very difficult to paint with watercolor on anything that wasn't meant for it, I find. So that's really cool. Oh, by the way, I did the comic book workshop. That was really fun, actually. Went really well. My booth, if you want to call it that way, was quite popular. A lot of kids wanted to either draw a comic, like a one-page short or a couple of pages. I had some very surprising results for some of the kids. Or like just have me paint something for them and they would look at it. That was fun. In the previous live stream, I mentioned I'm going to do a comic book painting workshop. So it was this Sunday and Monday. This week's Sunday and Monday, which was quite fun. It was intense, though. It was 2 very intense days. It was a lot of be on your toes and really, teach and react to what's going on. And it's kids, or mostly younger kids. So it was an interesting challenge. Let's see here. Alexander, hey, how are you? Hope everything is well. Let's see, I'm going to take a quick break here from the Gators. Agatha, I'm playing with the oranges, creating them in different techniques and vectors as well, exploring how far I can get just in one subject. That's fun. I guess I want to know what I can do. Yeah, that sounds to me really fun. I would be curious if I were to do something similar, to explore how much I can push the oranges to look blue. That would be a fun thing to try, I think. Laura, exactly, Liron. I was getting too intense with the florals, especially since I'm trying to paint loosely. Yes, you can approach florals very loosely, Laura, but it really depends. Sometimes they're demanding. It's hard to explain. Sometimes they're really demanding. So yeah, I totally get it. By the way, I noticed that this leg I can probably bring it in a little closer, make this a bit of a tighter turn here. That's a neat little section. Oh, how fun. I bet you're inspiring a whole generation to create art. Yes, it was great. It was really great. And I saw everything, and I saw like all of the limiting beliefs and challenges and issues like that. And you can tell a lot of it comes from the parents, of course, and how they treat art. And no parent was really like, mean or anything like that. But you knew some of them didn't know exactly like how to compliment even the right way, let's say. But it was cute. It was cute. It was really fun. And yeah, a lot of them, I think some of them are really into it, and maybe we'll end up I don't know, making some art as grown-ups, possibly. It could be. So yes, that was really fun. Malcolm, currently working on illustrations in Photoshop for a children's rhyming story I've written. Oh, that's cool. You've got a nice style going on there. How does Clip compare to Photoshop? I haven't really used much of Photoshop. Let me sample this. I have to figure out what it is. Okay, so it's not as ultramarine. It's more to the right and kind of in the lower right quadrant. Okay, got it. More of Prussian blue. I don't have an easier time recognizing Prussian blues or blues in that kind of range. Yeah, I haven't painted enough with Photoshop, so it's a bit hard to say. Not sure how it would compare. I think Photoshop is a little, it has probably more options than Clip Studio Paint, but Clip Studio Paint is really good for the things it's meant to be for. So for comic books, illustrations, stuff like that, it just is really, really good. And I think that's kind of the strength that they were playing with, being the best at that kind of a thing. which I do want to create like a proper manga one day. So that is quite a useful thing, actually. And I have done a collaboration with them, a sponsored video with them in the past, by the way, which was great. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to add a bit more background here using that same neutral, perhaps taking it a bit lighter. And I'm going to use kind of a round mixing brush. Let's see what we can get here. No brush feels perfect to me. Like, I would love for something a little different, though I'm not sure how to describe what I'm missing with these brushes. I really am not sure. Something like the paint and apply works really well, but it doesn't do anything if there's no paint on paper. So I'm really not sure how to even define what it is that I'm after. Maybe if we start a little thinner. Yeah, but that's really strong still. I'm not sure. Oh, and there's the leg of the gator here. Shouldn't be anything here. It should actually come here. Okay. Yeah, that's a nice brush. That's actually a nicer one. Maybe I'll stick to that for a while. There's a bit of reflected. So this is really cool. I barely managed to capture any of that nuance. So there's a bit of that blueness here, probably a little more neutral blue. And then as we get to the left side, we're going to go neutral on the shadows, even warm in some spots, like so. And then we're going to switch over to a blue, dark, almost blank. So I basically did a full video on gouache painting process that I'm looking forward to posting. I'm just waiting for it to be approved. There's no reason for it not to be approved, but I did want to make sure that it's good with the company. And that's going to be a good one, like for a really good process, a process I'm really proud of. So you'll hopefully like that too. It's the painting I've shown you in the last live stream. I don't know, I guess something like this looks kind of okay. Yeah, I think we'll do a little more and then we'll move on to another reference photo. So I'm going to be using, once again, the thin, probably gouache. Let's get a bit of hints over on that gator, just to hint at the texture. Then we'll go a little darker, I think, for all these, I don't know what you'd call these, the scales, creases in the scales. But he really carved out their shape. Like now, when I look at it, I really see it. Look at this here. This is crazy. So if I want to recreate it, I'll have to continue and extend that scale over here. He really paid attention to stuff. It's just observation, it really is. If you can see it, you can paint it. It's just hard seeing it sometimes. So yeah. Let's add, just for fun, I'm going to move this a bit to the left. We'll add a bit of that green. I like that green, and then we'll wrap up this particular process. So I'd say it's somewhere around here, and it's quite neutral. Close enough. Let's use the paint and apply, I think. And then kind of mix it all together just to add a bit of a green. I don't know if it's an abstract feel, but that's fine. A bit more red, then we'll mix it all together. Yeah, I think it's good. Just a quick study of a part of that scene. I like that. Let me grab another one. In the meantime, we'll kind of do the chat. I will save it. I don't know. I like the way it looks, so let's save it. I have another interesting one, I think. Oh, let's see here. I'm going to save it as JPEG as well. And let's do, there's so much, by the way, let me show you. There's so much in this reference photo. It's crazy. In this painting. So we've painted this small section, but look at like how he expressed this one in the shadow, which is so tough sometimes to do. We talked about this painting in the Painting Masters episode, but still, like, this is super cool. This to me is a person painting based on their own impression and their own way. No method, no technique, just doing what he knows. This is not like, I can't look at this and trace any influences. And to me, this is the perfect painting. When there's no, like, oh, this is a really Zbukvich style painting. I like the art to just be one of a kind. That's what I aspire to in my paintings. Jacqueline, art is powerful and we need it. How boring would life be without art? Yes, for sure. My daughter says only Japanese people can make manga. Is this true? No, it's not. It's not. There are some non-Japanese people who also make manga. Jesse, hey Liron. Hey Jesse, how are you doing? Hope everything is fine with you. I was very happy to see you on the last live stream as well. Jacqueline notes she draws it and is good, but says it's a cultural form of art, so she doesn't think she can sell her art because she's not Japanese. No, it doesn't have to be a perfect pure manga. It could be a hybrid. You know, a lot of people play in that, combining the Western and Eastern styles of creating, and it can look really good. So I don't know. I don't really think I agree with that. I don't think. Some people say if you're not Japanese, you can't make manga, even if what you make is identical to manga, which most people don't make something that's identical to manga. They can't. It's very hard. But even if you do, they say you can't. I definitely don't buy that. So yeah. Oh wow! I didn't realize it was a bigger painting. Yes, Soko, how you zoomed in. I like that better. Yeah, it's. I like to sometimes, you know, focus on one area and see if I can just learn something from that. You know, you don't have to. Even when doing a master study, so to speak, you really don't have to use the whole thing. You can choose to use it however you want, you know? I'm gonna go for another one. I'm leaving it here in the corner for you to look at, but I have it really in front of me on the screen in a larger version. Let's see what happens. I want to try and almost paint it like I would my watercolors. It's just very hard for me to translate this process to digital. So we'll try. So I think I can rotate, by the way. I can do this. This is going to be our frame. This is going to be our paper. So I'm going to try and work this very painterly. I really like this one. I had to confirm it is Sargent indeed, because at some point I wasn't sure. But it is. Surely it is Sargent. Let me zoom in a bit. Why am I torturing us? Can I go full screen? Yes, but it's not as convenient. So I need something like, there we go. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. So this is obviously like the coolest part to me about it is that play with the whites and the colorful shadows. It's one thing I really enjoy doing. So it's fun to see it in someone else's painting. So we have this, I don't know what, it's a hill or something like that. And I'm almost trying to paint it as if I would paint a watercolor on paper and the way I would approach that thing. Now this should be a little more to the left, but that's fine. So we'll go all the way down to the bottom. Like so. There's a bit of a nice gap here. Bit of this. Another towel. I'm probably missing like a whole towel to the right, but that's fine. Let's see if we can still capture the gist of it. There are kind of two towels here, I guess. I don't even see what they hang on, but that's fine. You know, it looks kind of simple in a way, especially compared to the previous one, but it's definitely not a simple painting, I think. But yeah, and then we have all the trees and the details there. Let's see how we get that. I would just go for it. Let's see what happens. So we're going to play around with warms and cools for the shadows. Maybe I'll use a... I don't know if I want to use that. See, nothing is like watercolor. Is there a watercolor brush? I don't think so. Not something that looks... I have a ton of Japanese brushes. I have no idea what they mean. Yeah, it's just a weird brush package. Let's see. How does oil paint work? Maybe I'll use oil paint, see what happens. Let's reduce the opacity to pretend we're using watercolor. And see what happens. So that's the thing when you're still uncertain of the tools and how to use them. Still a learning experience for me. This can get quite a variation in size. Let's see. Yes, Laura, thank you. So far, my two favorite Sargent paintings. Really? Okay, cool. I chose well. Laura, hi, Liron. I have a tiny bit of time. Very interested in seeing this live. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of focusing while I'm doing it, so it's a bit challenging. But I'll do my best to make it also entertaining. Let's go with that. So I want to get, and you won't see the reference at all times because I am going to zoom in quite a bit. I'll just go for it. But you know what I'll do? I think I'll change the opacity of the layer, and then I don't have to play around with the opacity of the medium itself. That is better. So let's see if I can block in some colors, and maybe it works. I'll come back with maybe white paint later on to adjust some of the shapes here. Probably need adjusting the colors too. Fine. And then let's go for a bit of a warm thing here and see how the two mix. I'd go even stronger on the warmth for now. It's almost like everything in the bottom starts reflecting light. Should have probably gone a little lighter, but I can play around with the opacity. So yeah, and then here you can really see the watercolor effects, which I love. Let's go more for a blue, I think. Might have exaggerated with the cools. I think next week I'll finally do a proper watercolor stream. I don't know why I didn't do it this time. I just didn't feel like my setup is good enough to show both my face and the desk, but I can probably make it happen. Let's go for more yellow. I don't even know what that color is, but probably more gray, actually. Yep. A lot more grays in the middle there. Trying to not work by a method, but just kind of figuring out what things look like. We'll see. Back to the blue here. A little stronger. CC's, thanks for your time and for your efforts, Liron. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Much appreciated. Let's see. By the way, anyone watching House of the Dragon? There's a second season. I talked about it a bit a while back. Curious to see if anyone is watching and your thoughts. There we go. I'm going to try a new light for my videos. I hate the glare from my current light when filming. Oh, so you mean like a glare? I'll have to look at the video. I haven't noticed it in the videos I have watched. Because I sometimes like the glares because it shows where the paper is wet. You know, like Tim Wilmot often will have it show. So I kind of like that sometimes. But it could be just me. This is interesting. So let me see. Yeah, I actually really like that look. I don't know. Again, that's probably just me. And I'm going to grab the paint and apply. And I'm going to smoothen out that edge to make it rounder. Yeah, that's the thing. It could be much stronger, actually. Why am I judging this? I'm really judging the color here way too neutral. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm not just mixing the violets. Like I have a fear of very saturated colors. I don't know what it is. But let's see. Hopefully with all the gaps we're leaving for some darker paints around, it's going to end up looking nice. Now there is quite a strong blue here. What is that? That's a pretty strong blue. We'll see. If you have any even watercolor related questions, feel free to ask. By the way, I haven't mentioned, but it always should be the case. So definitely let me know. I'm happy to answer them. I've been really getting into a point with watercolor where it's so strange, but I feel like I'm really seeing the matrix, so to speak. Nothing really phases me right now. And I feel like I can paint with complete just freedom, really. And it's a pretty huge gift, it feels like. I don't know what it is, but the more time passes, the more I feel like I'm seeing the whole thing, like the whole picture, so to speak. Not just seeing my references, but really seeing how the whole picture connects together and what painting is all about. And it's really fun. So yeah, I don't know what it is lately, but I've been just having fun with experimenting and doing things. I think it's just honestly the years of doing it. At some point, you have to kind of really let go and, you know, do whatever you want. You should definitely do a video about your setup, cameras, OBS, lighting. It's such a super simple setup. But I could do something like that. Here I have a bit of a weird one with my camera. I just stood it over my desk there. Usually I don't set it up like that. I'll have it on the floor next to the desk with two legs on the desk, but I didn't have any other place to put it here. So it's just on my desk with a weird back angle. I think the biggest component of my filming setup is that tripod that has that vertical that turns into a horizontal bar. That's the most important thing. Again, I'll try and show it more properly. See this thing? It stands up vertically, and then you can kind of take it out and stand it up horizontally, sorry. That's the biggest component. That's the main thing. Everything else is a little simpler, you know. But yeah, I get it. There's a lot of complexities. Once you actually get into it, there's a lot. So yeah, I'll try doing something like that perhaps in the not too distant future. So I'm going to try and establish some kind of a background thing here. Let's see how that goes. I do want to avoid the lights, though I can just cover them and then bring them back with white paint. As you see, his grays are quite interesting. Not sure what I think of them. All of these oranges, all of these variations would be very hard to just paint them, I think. Even digitally, it's just one of those things. It's much more fluid and easy to do with watercolor, funny enough. You know, as much as people say that watercolor is hard, I don't really share that opinion. To me, watercolor is the easiest, really. But yeah, that's just me and a lot of experience, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's much easier to work with watercolor. Let's see. Let's just do a bit of opacity. Let's increase the opacity here. To do something like this digitally, again, I think is much, much harder than just using watercolor on paper. I really do think that. I kind of missed an entire shirt here, but I can bring it back. There we go. It's funny. All the way down to here. I'll just establish something and then I'll start including the variations in it. It's nothing final here. CC, I've not started on House of the Dragon. Definitely a Game of Thrones fan here. Though I do better binging it all at once. What can I say? I'm emotional. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Some people they just feel better waiting and then binging. I like the weekly thing because then I can watch videos and hear people's thoughts on it. But yeah, you have to really work hard to avoid spoilers, I guess. Jacqueline, yes, I have that kind of boom art. Yeah, arm. Yes, that's really important. I think that's the most important one. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'll have to think about it. What kind of a video to make? Moscow Cowboy, hello from Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you for being here. Marjorie Bees, this is an interesting process to run an electronic palette. It won't dry and change. Yes, that's true, but it's so much harder. It really is. So I'm going to get a couple of these. Oops, there's actually something there behind it that I don't want to miss. Another set of cloth or clothing. And then this goes around here. Now, some of it is really like, I'm not going fully colorful, but some of these oranges are really strong. You could start portraying them. I'm going to try and simplify some of it, though. So let's do this. The undo button mainly helps me here. All the way down to here. Almost in an abstract way, I'm kind of filling it up with some of these oranges too. But again, most of these effects, they're just made for, you know, watercolor. Now, if I want to just include some of these, I don't know, darker tree trunks in the background. Some of them almost look purpley and violet. It's pretty crazy, actually. I have no idea how do you mimic all of these brush marks, you know? How can you actually make it look like that? I think there are some software that are able to. I'm going to switch to opaque mode, more opaque. I think there are software that are able to do that, to mimic it a little better. I forgot their name. The brush look, that is. Like if I do this, I can create a bit of a dry brush look, but it's not going to be as nice as the real thing, of course. See all of these little marks there, a bit brown. I knew this is going to be a tough one. I had a feeling. And then let's say just to figure it out, can I just put in, yeah, so I'm going to need a different brush for that. Maybe oil paint, or maybe I'm just going too dark. If I don't want to mix it, yeah, that will be just a new layer probably, if I don't want them to mix. Just trying to figure out, like, how would I approach this? It's full of textures. I have no idea how to do this not with watercolor, you know? It's crazy. Such a different experience. I would just use like a Gaussian blur and blur this whole thing, you know? Stephanie, good morning, Liron. Liron crew, I love Sargent. Looking forward to seeing this. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Marjorie, thank you for sharing this. It does seem harder. However, it will get easier the more familiar you get. Yeah, definitely. I love the undo button. Yes, most important feature. Let's see what I can do here with the green. I'm going to try a bit of a different approach to this area. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to try and see if I can paint it by mixing the color there, so to speak, and then changing it constantly. Let's see what we can get. So this goes a little cleaner on the green here. A little more olivey, I would say. A little cleaner here. A little more on the blue side around here, which is quite interesting, but neutral. It's really interesting. So I am seeing almost 2 layers. So if I were to work in larger shapes here, it's crazy. I'm not sure if it was painted with, you know, using 2 layers, like one for the green and then one for those reddish neutral shadows. I'm actually would be curious to see how it would was painted, which is of course impossible, but that's interesting. I'm really not sure. Let's build the edge here. This is honestly such a strange experience. But it starts to take shape, right? It starts to look like something in the ballpark, I guess. Once you start really placing in all of these shapes bordering the laundry, essentially, I guess it does start to look like something. It's quite interesting because I'm starting to see it almost, you know. Yep. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. And then once I finish placing all of this in, I can maybe start working some variations into it. Yeah, so if I zoom out a bit, you see it starts to look nice. It needs more contrast, obviously, and a bit of modifications, but I mean, it starts to look like something. Jesse, okay, here's something I'm looking for. If you want a real watercolor effect, you should use Krita. Yeah, Krita, okay, I had a feeling. And I think the app is free. Yeah, I heard about it. I'll check it out. I don't know if I can use it. Does it work on PC? I'll give it a try. I'll see how their watercolor is. Yeah, I know it's free. I actually looked into it in the past. We'll give it a try. Jansard, Aaron Blaze is amazing with digital art and pencil and charcoal, but I don't think is good with watercolor. Tools you get used to for sure. Yes. Yes, it is. Exactly. I wholeheartedly agree. Okay, so let's see if we can push this towards a more completed look. And I think the way it'll go is by maybe focusing on smaller areas at a time. So if if we really zoom in for a second here, we have this beautiful brownish red. It kind of darkens the edges here. And I know the edges are a little, I made them a little stronger, but a little longer, but that's fine. Then we have more of that here. Sorry, I want to check something out real fast. Maybe important. Okay. And then here, I'm going to incorporate just a bit of that. It's a thin line. I want to improve this. Like, this doesn't look right. These towels or whatever they are. This should go warmer. I'm trying to kind of mimic what he did here, you know. So this is a little warmer. And then here on the other one, we do have that same blue. Something like that. And then I would go with white here. Make the shadow a little smaller, blend this a bit. Then we have some nice little, I don't know, folds or creases. I don't want to sample the actual colors on the painting itself. I could and then just go with them, but I really want to see if I can bring my own thing to it. So my plan for the upcoming weeks is I'm going to work on that large painting. We have a short couple of days vacation coming up that I'm looking forward to. And I want to, I have a few really good ideas for videos that I haven't had enough time to develop, so hopefully I'll do that soon as well. There are some things I want to share with you. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Just work. Well, let's see here. Let's darken this whole thing. I feel like this entire section could be a little darker to better contrast with this. And then here, we definitely have this bit of a grayish, almost hinting at warmth shadow here. Don't know what you'd call that. But here's the main bit which I haven't even gotten to yet. So let's see. It's crazy how much I'm used to working with values only with watercolor, with water and paint. And as soon as it's just about, you know, using different means to darken, it's so bizarre and strange to me, the way you process. And I think I'll take a break in a couple of minutes and just chat. I wanted to share something else, but I kind of forgot what it was. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a bit. I'm going to let this one breathe. What happens if I remove the sketch layer, I wonder? Okay, it starts to look like something. I'm going to take a break, though. I feel like I need to see it from afar. Let me share with you the huge piece I'm working on. I have a couple of pictures of it, but it's very much in the initial stages. Let's see here. It's huge, though. So I have a bunch of pics I took. And I am filming the process. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm gonna upload these real quick. And we'll continue with this one in a couple of minutes, I think. Am I missing a big shadow there? No, I'm good. I think honestly, like if we're just talking about a study, this is close enough just to get the overall impression, right? If you're doing a study just to capture the overall impression, this is it. Now, if you want to take it a couple of steps further, that's fine, and that's probably what I'm going to do in a couple of moments. But just generally speaking, that's how it would look for me. Maybe just darken some of the areas that need darkening. I like the holes in this towel or whatever that is down below. That's a cool part. Okay. Downloads, extract. Okay, I'm going to share with you this 1 second. Present, share screen, window. There we go. Okay, so this, and you won't be able to see much, but now you may be able to see some. This is what I've been working on. Again, this is 2.5 meters by 1. A huge, 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 huge painting. A really beautiful scene that I did some work on to get it to work this well in this crop. And let me show you some more details here. So I actually had to place it on the large table in the living room with my Mac. I'll explain how the process went. It's a bit of a strange one. I basically placed this huge piece of paper, thank you, Jesse, on the wall and used my built-in camera with a projector to project the image onto it and sketch it this way. Now, the problem is because of the size, the image was very blurry. So what you see here is almost an averagization. I don't even know if you can use it as a word. It's an average. It's think about it this way. I sketched this based on a blurry photo. Okay, so things kind of become messed up, and then it goes. I went over a process of looking at the actual thing compared to, this was basically to capture the proportions, the overall thing. But then I went through a process of going over the sketch and bringing out more of the accuracy in it. And I think this is where I paused around this area. So I brought back all of the accurate details all the way from here to here. I honestly don't have to do it. I just feel like with such a big piece, it would make it easier to paint. And I do plan on painting this soon. And I wanted to make sure I have a clear image of it in mind. And usually with these kinds of pieces, you do want to have a relatively detailed sketch. Otherwise, you'll end up with not enough details. And again, far be it from me to say that you have to have a detail. You can do a very empty painting as well. But the look I like, I still want it to be quite detailed, even when it's a large painting. And by the way, I wrote in the story, I finished like 5 of these LEDs, 5 full LEDs on what you see so far. But yeah, thank you, Jesse, once again. Thank you, Stephanie. Marjorie, will you take photos while on vacation to share with us? I think I will. I'll do some stories, yes. Jesse, how will you keep this paper from cracking? It sure is big. What do you mean cracking? Do you mean creasing as I manipulate it, move it around? Or do you mean buckling as I paint? Let me know, because these are very different things. So I'm not sure what you mean by cracking. Basically, the way this tends to work, I'll paint in small areas. If there is a big wash, I have to paint in multiple, in one go. I will do that, but there are very few. So what you see here, there's a big hill. This entire area is essentially empty, but there is some gradual transition from basically paper white to a very, very light blue. So these will be painted. These are large areas that will be painted in one wash, covering them all. But everything else here, all the small details, I can pretty much get away with painting in small sections, and then seeing how it all connects together from afar and making it work. Now, because it's a snowy scene, that's what it's going to be, there is something technically that makes it a little easier, and you can play a lot with the paper white, but still it's going to be a long, arduous process because of the sheer size and details, if that makes sense. Jacqueline, can't wait for you to see you paint on it. Yes, I'm looking forward to it, and I'll do my best to document the process. I probably won't have like a really long, good video of me painting because I really need to be focused, but I'll have snippets. I'll have snippets and I'll have pictures for sure. Marjorie, wow, you have quite a commission going on. Yes, it's a major one, the large piece. Yes, yes, it's what it is. Very grateful for it. It's a great opportunity for me to try something like this. Jacqueline, I was nervous about bending my large painting, but it's very pliable, surprisingly. Yes. And yeah, Jesse, so creasing, buckling, that's just part of it. Creasing, yes, you do have to be careful. You will notice some minor creases here. So what and here as well, what I have noticed with my large Ponte Vecchio painting is these creases happen. They don't really ruin the end result. You will get some of these creases. No one will notice them once there's paint on paper. And once it's framed, stretched behind glass, even fewer people will be able to notice it. So essentially, the paint solves the whole problem. Even when you have a crease, the paint expands the fibers of the paper. It really grows them and makes them more tangled. And then it almost stretches out these creases. And I find that it's very hard to crease it after there's paint on it, because the paper becomes more robust and harder. So funny enough, the paper is not only quite pliable, it's also very durable to these things. It doesn't actually destroy the end result. Yeah, surprisingly enough. And thankfully, I learned it from sheer luck with the Ponte Vecchio process. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that. And I would probably really stress over these small creases, but it's really nothing. It really is nothing. Yeah. You cannot move this huge piece of paper around without having some creases. It's impossible. And I even did my best to use gloves so that I don't drop oil on it and make it, even harder to paint over. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. That's going to take up my next couple of weeks probably. So yeah, we'll see about that. Jan's art. This reminds me of trying to sew curtains of iron large tablecloths. Not that I do those things anymore, but having your work area draped over a large area can be a challenge, but exciting. Yes, on the one hand, it's challenging. On the other hand, you get to feel it. You know what I mean? It's not as sterile as a tiny painting where you don't touch the paper almost. It's really working with your hands. And it makes you appreciate how robust the materials are. And it gives much more confidence. I think painting the really huge Ponte Vecchio painting changed something in me and how much free I am with smaller pieces, even freer. It's just, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you did it, you can't experience it in the future, which is really great. Laura, when you sketch out a large piece, do you try to sketch in natural breaks for your washes? Not really. I'll just sketch as many details as I notice and want to make a distinction of in paint, if that's what you mean. I think that's how I do it. Then I get to decide while I paint, okay, this area is going to be more detailed, this area is going to be less detailed. That's kind of a decision I make after the fact. But when I sketch, I just care about making it the best, most detailed sketch I feel like I need for the dimensions of the painting, if that makes sense. Moving this paper is a two-person job. If it was a two-person job, it might have ended up with less creases. But because I did it on my own, yeah, it happens. Sometimes you got to rely on yourself. But yeah, I find that every time I want to start working on it, I need to to roll it the other way and then open it again and then start working on it, which is funny. But yeah, these large pieces are very educational. If you've never done something like this, it really is a chasm. Once you cross it, everything else is a joke, really, in terms of complexity. Small pieces of paper. I'm so loose. Like, if you've watched my latest video on the very direct painting of Venice, the Venice scene with the reflection of the tower there, that was done. That's my favorite way to paint sometimes, just as a quick study, very punchy, gets the job done, and it's a great preparation for a more detailed piece if you'll be interested in doing that. You don't have to. It can be also the final thing if you want it to be. Delivering the finished piece will be challenging. Yeah, I'll use DHL, I think. I did some research, and it looks like it'll be the best solution. But it's definitely going to be a challenge. More mentally, like, I am the type of person to worry about these things. Like, will it make it safe? I have to ensure it. The value is much higher than pretty much anything I created so far. So yes, it's going to be mostly a mental challenge. Hey, Christina, how are you doing? Hope everything is well. Thank you for being here. I'm going to share again. I will keep you updated on that. That's actually when you actually get to the point where you ship out a lot of paintings. These things do start becoming quite interesting. I'll definitely say I'm going to be a bit nervous about it making it safe. And for the price it's going to cost to ship it, I might as well just fly there in person. Funny enough, what I checked, but I think it's a good option. I'm not too worried about it. I had my daughter help me deliver my largest commission. Even then, I felt very awkward unrolling it to show her. That's funny. You felt awkward showing it to your daughter, like unrolling it? It's the things that you're able to create. At some point, they surprise you, and it's pretty fun and crazy. What was that largest commission? I'm curious. What size, what dimensions are we talking about? Now, why am I struggling with finding this paint? Is it a more gray? I don't know. What is that? I'm looking at it directly. I'm like, what is that? Yeah, that looks right. Painting a watercolor with an opaque digital media is quite the trip. By the way, I think I'm going to get rid of my, yeah, they're just confusing me. My pencil lines, that is. To the lady who commissioned it. Okay, I see. Yeah, I get it. But it's great. It's we definitely need art collectors and people to purchase our paintings. Definitely a big part of being an artist and making it sustainable, especially as a business. I don't know. Am I even pushing it to be closer? I have no idea. I think I'll bail on this painting soon, but I just kind of, let's see what we can make out of it. Let's see. Let's go for a stronger. See, there's an interesting kind of thing going on here with the edge of one of them. Also, kind of near the top, I do see this bit of darkness in some spots. That's quite nice. Same for the more, I guess, orangey neutral areas. I would say more blue. There we go. Yeah, I think it's looking a bit like the thing. But yeah, all of these watercolor effects are exhausting. I'm gonna stop with this one now. I don't know if I'll see if I'll do another one. We'll see. I'll look at some of his paintings and we'll decide if I want to do another one. Let's look at that now. 4 feet wide by 2.5 feet tall. That's a lot, right? Let me see how much it is in meters. So that would be 120 centimeters over, that's probably about 70. Wow. 120 over 76. Okay, yeah, I was accurate. That's crazy. That's really nice. 120 over 7. Yeah, that's a big painting. Okay, I can imagine it. She cried when she saw it, which I feel very blessed that my art touches someone so deeply. Yeah, that is a really interesting experience that a lot of artists never get to experience. You know, they just create for themselves, and that is fine. But you can indeed consider yourself blessed. That's really an amazing experience. So I'm gonna be looking at, hey John, how are you? Good morning yourself. Share. Let's see what we get here. Let's see if there's anything else we want to kind of try. I love these paintings of his, like, really point of view from the boats and whatever. This is really nice too. This is really nice. But I don't know if I want to try that out. That's complex. Ooh, this is nice too. He just had a touch. This time I'm not searching for watercolors. Okay, that's a mid-journey style. I'm not looking for watercolors specifically. The last time I looked for watercolors in particular. This painting I also featured on Painting Masters. These are really nice. It's too bad this, oh, there we go, it got sharp. This is crazy good. I love this one. This is interesting. Let me try this one. This looks like it won't be too big of a nightmare. Just for fun, let's do one more. Let's see here. It's also a small picture, which is nice. The name of the picture, the name of the photo is Restricted. That's literally the name of it. It's not that restricted if I just downloaded it, right? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to create a new file. And let's see. Oh, it really is restricted and my program won't open it. What format is that? Properties. JFIF. What's a JFIF? I'm going to open it with Photoshop for a second. What is JFIF? Worst case, I'll take a screenshot of it. That's strange. Studio is coming along nicely, by the way, starting to look like something. Hung up some stuff on the walls, as you can see. Okay, you JFIF image. Now I got you. Okay. So I'm going to present. I like your mirror photo. What do you mean mirror photo? I'm not sure. Let me know. I'm probably missing it, and I should understand immediately. Sorry about that. Besides Sargent, who else is a good watercolor artist to study? You know, every artist really can be good to study. What I like about Sargent is the fact that he just did himself. He didn't really try to, you know, I'm sure there are some influences, but I can't really see them. To me, he's the influence. So that's something I really like. I think it's useful because you don't really you don't mimic a very chewed up kind of style, which I like. But if you do studies of, you know, someone like Wendy Artin, who works a lot in black and white, I think that could be very interesting too. There's honestly plenty of really good artists out there. You know, you have the most popular ones, Bookvich, Castanet, but they also really work on their own, in their own kind of approach. I think any artist you really enjoy looking at their art is a good choice in this example. So I'm gonna look for a good brush to start with here. I want this to be kind of rough. Okay, I'm gonna go directly. No pencil lines, quote unquote. Let's see if I can kind of carve it out. Not as easy as I thought, but I keep forgetting I can just go over stuff. So why am I working hard to... Hopefully as a landscape, and I'm gonna make the picture a little larger so you actually see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. Well, I did paint over the same layer, so that sucks. Let's do this. New layer, there we go. And I can make the picture itself larger. Hopefully that helps. And then we have this nice lilac-y bluish color. I'm always having a hard time recognizing what that is. So it looks like it's somewhere around here. There's more blue. Yeah, I'm pretty close. That's fine. I was just worried for nothing. So I love, like, these are the kinds of things I don't always think about in the landscape, to contrast blues and oranges like that. I don't think I've ever actually done that. So that's quite fun. Now we're going to crank up the yellow a bit here near the bottom corner. Am I working on 2 layers again? I am so dumb. I am so dumb. Now, how do I unify these 2 layers? I don't know. It's going to be fine. I'll just work on this layer from now on. Now we have a gray around this corner. It's not going to blend, obviously, because I'm on a different layer, but that's fine. It's not going to blend with everything. It's going to blend with some of it. Then here we have a bit more of a purpley touch in the sky. That's so funny. Now we're going to go for a stronger blue here. I think it's something like that, right? All the way down to... Actually, I can cover the whole sky with that. Sorry, I'm going to cover some of the reference photo. You'll have to forgive me. I am seeing the complete one here. And then gray over that. This is the darker gray, lighter gray. It looks a little lighter, actually. So, again, I'm doing this almost in an abstract way. It's almost a little warm, too, I would say, some of it. Let's see here. Okay, I missed a bunch of messages, sorry. Turner Early, Georgia O'Keeffe. Yeah, I love Georgia O'Keeffe, by the way. I like realistic with a painterly feel. Sargent is definitely it. Which blue is that? Yeah, that's a good question. That's like the most neutral blue I could grab. It's not an ultramarine. It's not a... I think it would be closest to cobalt, I think. Hey, Born Again Farm Girl, hope you're doing well. Hey, Nancy. Layers are really hard to manage. You can merge the layers. Yeah, but even if I merge them, it's still going to be a nightmare because I have the reference photo here, and I don't want to have that combined with the rest. Now I'm going to make it a little red here. See, it's like... kind of a creamy color. It's hard to say. And then we have some of that same purple, but darker ones. I like that a lot. Around here too. So that gives me almost the abstract feel of it. But then if we start addressing some of the details, I can almost do a new layer, but you know what? I want this to merge together. So let's not do a new layer. Let's see if I can paint over that. So I'm going to grab some of those light colors. Digital is hard. I'll do next week. I'll definitely do just watercolor. Just good old watercolor will be much easier for me. Then more orange here towards the right. What kind of, so let me do a quick impromptu poll. What kind of a scene would you like me to paint in next week's live stream? We will have one, right? I think we will. It's not vacation time yet. Yes, I should be here, no problem. So for the next live stream, whenever that will be, probably next week, what kind of reference would you like me to paint? Would you like it to be a cityscape, landscape, whatever? Let me know. I'll look at your recommendations. I'll pick accordingly, I think. I have a bunch of new paints I want to try out, and it'll probably be a good opportunity. I don't often have new paints to try, so I'm quite excited about that. More neutral around here, go a little darker. A little lighter on the left side. Hopefully that turns into something that makes sense. Same one, only darker. There's this nice little shadow here. But doing this digitally does kind of help with better understanding colors, because you're forced to choose the right color instead of mixing it, which is a major task, serious undertaking. I'm going to keep this one abstract, I think. We'll go like this. Oh, cool. Thursday is 4th of July. That is correct, right? That is true. So does that mean people will be here for the live stream or not? Or it doesn't really matter? Born Again Farm Girl, digital is way harder than the paintbrush. I use my iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil, but there's nothing that comes close to watercolor. Yep, that is true. With watercolor, I'm at a point where I feel like I can really just go for it. Don't have to think about anything. Don't have to, just instinct, just pure instinct, which is the most fun. John, if it is not, it looks like the Washington Memorial you headed up this week. Now, which one is it? I'm not sure. White Teresa, hey, it's been a while. Hope you're doing well. A forest with dense bushes and misty tree trunks. Yes, that's a favorite one, it seems. Yeah, I'll consider it for sure. Okay, that might be it. What else? Let me know. I'll definitely go with one of the recommendations, just not sure which one. Now let me bring back a bit of that white up here. Now, one thing to remember, when you paint like this, again, it's based on second-hand impression from other painters. It will always be a little more difficult, by the way. I know it sounds crazy that when you paint based on someone else's work, you think it should be easier. To me, at least, it's often more difficult. Just know. Let's go even more towards this cerulean. Yeah, I quite like it. I'm gonna, I think, keep it like this. People might be sleeping in because they are off work. Yeah, that may happen. So maybe a later stream, if anything. Waterfalls. Okay, that's interesting. Waterfalls. That is interesting. I'm going to save all of these comments. Let's see. Okay, good. So we're already 2 landscapes, that's for sure. Laura, I would love to see a landscape, but I won't catch it live, heading on vacation for 3 weeks. Oh, that's cool. Enjoy it. That is really awesome. We'll be on vacation from the 7th till the 11th too. So that will be fun. Looking forward to it. Paula, a loose floral. Not sure I have ever seen you do florals. Oh, I have a few videos on florals. I wouldn't say I have a loose floral yet. These tend to give me some trouble, so that's actually a good idea. Watercolor tip 2 days ago, you're holding it up. Oh, okay. You mean the scene from Venice, right? Yeah, so that looked like the Washington Memorial. Interesting. Okay. Looks like a mirror image. Yes. Okay, now I see what you mean. That's right. Okay, got it. Sorry, yeah, I was missing the context. Now I understand. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy, and it seemed like a lot of people enjoyed that one, so that's good. I answered Mountains with a Stream, a classic. Yeah, definitely a Bob Ross classic. Thank you so much, Marjorie. Yeah, so I think that's what we'll do. We'll do some kind of a, I don't know, I really need to stretch my back. I have nothing to grab and stretch it. I think it will be, yeah, something like this, like a landscape of sorts with water somehow, or florals. I'll have to think about it. White Rose, yeah, it's been a while. I tend to go my own route these days away from tutorials, but I'm sick this week, so happy to follow the stream. Yeah, and hopefully I can create some videos that aren't like pure tutorials and just fun for everyone to watch. I like mirror images. That's fun. Yeah. There are sometimes, it's so funny because sometimes you can get away with painting something that is totally not a mirror image and it will still look believable. When you actually compare the reflections, they don't look nothing like the thing they should look like. So I quite like that too. Joanna, I'd like to see if it's possible to do a watercolor like Turner's oil painting, Rainstream, and I'm not sure what that is. Let's see here. Turner oils. Yeah, I think it is possible. Yeah, I know what you mean. I kind of like these types of works of his. I wouldn't know exactly how to produce this effect, but it is very much possible, I believe. I'll have to look into that. Nancy, did you say where you're vacationing? It's probably Cyprus. Probably. We'll see. Marjorie, could we try water coming from a large fountain? Actually, Sargent has one of these, water from a fountain. Okay, interesting. I'll highlight that. I'll take a screenshot of all the highlighted suggestions, and then I'll figure out which one would work best. Yeah, speed. Yeah, I thought you meant something else, but yeah, speed makes sense. I mean, I think this way of painting would be faster in watercolor, actually, than when he used oils. He also has some works that are quite detailed, actually, now that I look at it. That took probably a long time. Interesting. I'll have to dive into that. Tai Chi, it helps the back. Yeah, definitely. I worked out today. It's just been tough to work out since we had so many move-related stuff. And it looks like the gym here in our neighborhood is closed for renovations till the end of this month, which is soon, but I couldn't join. And if I don't have that, environment, it'll be hard. So yeah. Landscape with a fountain and flowers. Yeah, everything crammed together, all the ideas. That would be the hardest. How about an animal like a cat? Oh, I actually painted a cat not too long ago, right? In that video on temperatures. You can combine with flowers. See how many of these suggestions you can incorporate into one painting. Yeah, or worse, into one stream and just paint all of these in separate paintings. January, hey, how are you? Says fish. Oh my, that's a lot of suggestions. Well, I'll have to think about it for sure. You gave me a lot to work with. Let me see. I want to screen cap it all. I had a bit of a brain fart. How do I take a screenshot? Is it? I can't believe it. I forgot how to take a print screen in Windows. I've been doing it every day automatically, just out of memory, and now I forgot. Oh yeah, it's wait, Shift and no Windows, Shift and S. Is it really like that? No, that's not what I'm looking for. So it's Windows and is it Windows and S? No. So how do I I always do it out of instinct, and now I can't remember how. I can't believe it. Windows key and print screen. This is what I tried. It didn't work though. Okay, now it worked. So I thought I was losing my mind because that's how I usually do it. I went for it and then it didn't work, and I completely lost confidence in the fact that that's how I usually do it. So now I have a print screen of all of your suggestions. We can definitely pick at least, I think the most popular one was a landscape. So landscape and some water I can definitely fit in, or maybe a waterfall. I think it'll be fun to do a waterfall in the landscape with lots of foliage and trees. I don't know how the sun and the light and the trees are going to fit in. Probably not the way some would imagine or hope for, but yeah, do a cat at a stream of water. You fish with a landscape around it with flowers. Yeah, I wish I could invent all of that and just cram it into one painting together. No way, though. It sounds like how some commissions go. Can you draw this cat, me holding the cat? Can you paint me holding the cat, and the cat should smile in the commission? Luckily, I haven't had that yet, but it does happen. These digital paintings remind me of Paul Klee's work. Paul Klee, I don't think I'm familiar with Paul Klee. Let's see here. Oh yeah, okay, I see. Not what I was aiming for, but I can see how it reminds you of that. Let me try and create like a clean border here just for fun, even though it's totally not complete. Select, invert, and we're gonna fill everything with just, maybe I'll do a new layer and fill it with white paint. Okay, so at least we got a nice border. But I wanna show you some of the paintings I'm looking at, because these are really good. Chrome. So I just searched Turner oils. This one really popped for me. So this is definitely one I want to look at in more detail. And there was this one when I said some of them probably took ages. I was referring to this one. Which one was it that popped for me? Another one I really liked. I don't remember, but there was one more. But this one's really nice. This one's really nice. I would love to be able to achieve something similar in watercolor with that sense of light. That's quite a challenge for me still. Something about colors, still quite elusive. And I have no idea how we painted like that. It would be interesting to be able to see a process, which is, of course, impossible. But yeah, I think we're good. I think we'll wrap up for today. Hopefully that was fun, just seeing these three studies, almost 2.5. I would say the last one was quite fast. Definitely a challenge to paint with an opaque digital media when you do a study of a more fluid one. But it would have been challenging either way because, because it's digital to traditional. I like that one. I did not know you were looking at that. Yeah, this one is wonderful. I was just looking at it to decide. I wasn't painting from it, though. But yeah, next week, hopefully, will be just watercolor. Much easier, I think, for me. Funny enough, I still don't have a good face camera set up there, but I'll figure something out. Worst case, you'll just see my hands. So that's okay. Thank you so much, Jesse. Do the painting like a story. John, those are my weaknesses. I have to paint it as I see it. It's the best I can do. But you can see, thank you so much. Hopefully Saturday will be that gouache painting process. Can't commit. I'm waiting to get an okay. Once I get an okay, I would be able to say, yes, it's going to be out. If not, I'll have to film something real quick for Saturday, or not. Or maybe there won't be a video on Saturday. And then apologies in advance. Thank you so much, John. Much appreciated. Have a great weekend yourself. Update me about the movie. Maybe you haven't. I haven't seen it yet. Sorry, I need to get back to a lot of Instagram messages. Got a lot of YouTube ones today, YouTube comments. So yeah. Joanna, I'm lucky enough to be in the UK, so I've seen them all. He started Impressionism. Monet denied being influenced by him, but there's a signature in the gallery's book. Schmegel visits it. Oh, that's funny. That is quite funny. Just stories from the old masters being quirky and trying to hide their inspiration. That's funny. I was completely original. I wasn't inspired by that artist at all. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you, Jacqueline, for being here. Much appreciated. Yeah, the gouache process is going to be fun. I really hyped it, and I'm waiting for that video to be out to post the actual painting, which is why I haven't yet on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere. So once the video is out, I'll post the painting as well. I'm really looking forward to it, but I was kind of saving it to post with the process itself. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Much, much, much appreciated. We'll see you again soon. Take care.